In this video, we have the Kia Stonic and the Hyundai Venue going head to head. That's right, two very similar but also very different budget small SUVs. We're looking at fuel consumption, price and value for money. We're looking at safety and of course what they like to drive and live with. Now, if you want to read the full review, go to carsguide.com.au or come with me now, we're going to look at pricing first. Now, the Kia Stonic and the Hyundai Venue are the smallest and most affordable SUVs made by these brands. Now, the versions that we've got today are the fancy ones, the top grades. So we've got the GT-Line grade of the Stonic and we've got the elite grade of the Venue. Now, you can see the prices on the screen right now. You don't need to spend that much money to get into these models though. You can start at the entry grades for low 20s, but you're not going to get all the standard features that you get on these. Let me show you those.
So let's compare standard features. Both the Stonic GT-Line and the Venue Elite come with 17-inch alloy wheels, roof rails, rear privacy glass, a sunroof, proximity key, and LED daytime running lights. Now the Stonic gets LED headlights too, and they are much brighter and better for dark roads than the yellowish halogen lights on the Venue. Inside, both come standard with fabric seats and single-zone climate control. They both have an 8-inch media display with sat-nav, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and digital radio. The Stonic GT-Line has a 4-speaker stereo, while the Venue Elite comes with a 6-speaker system. The Venue also has a wireless phone charger. Now, you don't get that in the Stonic. And there's also a digital style driver display. Now, it's not a fully digital screen or a virtual display. It's actually just an instrument cluster with backlit digital numerals for your speed and your revs. So very similar features, but pretty different looking SUVs. The Venue looks more boxy and I think cuter. The Stonic has a more sporty hatch look, like an SUV that somebody's stepped on. I like that the Venue looks a bit rugged, and I like those Squircle LED running lights. Yes, Squircle. But I also like the Stonic's angry insect face. Actually, the colour is called Honeybee. I like the Stonic's flared wheel arches, the pinched-in grille and the horizontal LED running lights. Inside, the cabins of both the Stonic and the Venue are pretty similar, with their centre displays propped up there on the dashboards and the chunky climate control dials. Look, I think the Venue's cabin just feels a little bit more modern though.
Okay, I'm in the Stonic now, and look, I love these seats. They look and they feel great, and I really like the dashboard as well with its carbon fibre effect look on it, and the steering wheel with the stitches. It feels really high quality. What I don't like though is this T-bar shifter. It's like something off a Ford Falcon from the 1990s. Look at that. And as well, these door trims, the hard plastic. I mean, I know this is a cheap car, but it doesn't have to look cheap. It doesn't look cheap on the outside. It looks really high quality and premium on the outside. And this hard plastic just lets it down. Disappointing. Okay, I am in the Venue now, and look, same in the Venue. You've got these hard plastic doors, but I think Hyundai's done a better job of styling them so it doesn't look quite as cheap. I like these white elements which are around the shifter and the air vents and the seats too. They look and feel good. In fact, they look very similar to the ones in the Stonic. In fact, a lot of the components in the Venue and the Stonic are shared. You know that Hyundai is the parent company of both Kia and Hyundai, obviously, and they use and share a lot of the same parts, the engineering, the technology, all of it, in fact, including the steering wheel as well. This looks identical to the one in the Stonic, apart from the badge. Yes. Oh, I like that shelf as well. Actually, talking of shelves, we're getting into practicality. Let's talk practicality.
Yes, let's talk practicality, because even though these are little cars, they're SUVs. And so they have to be functional. They've got to be versatile, and they've got to seat 5 people. But it's more than just people room these SUVs have to be good at. There's also cabin storage and charging cables, and they have to have a usable boot. So yes, the dashboard shelf in the Venue is great. The Stonic doesn't have one though, but it does have these double-decker shelves down here. That looks like a wireless phone charger, but it isn't. The Venue does have one, that's it right there. When it comes to charging, the Stonic has a 12-volt power outlet up front, plus a Type A USB port up there as well. In the back, there's another Type A USB port. Venue also has a 12-volt outlet up front, along with a Type A and Type C USB port. In the second row are 2 Type C ports. Both the Stonic and the Venue have centre console boxes under the middle armrest up front. There are 2 cup holders up there as well, and bottle holders in all the doors. The best legroom is offered by the Venue. I'm sitting behind my driving position here, and there's just enough space for my ridiculously long legs. Headroom is also really good in the Venue. The back seat of the Stonic feels just a little bit more cramped for me. The Venue also has larger rear door openings, and this, along with a more elevated ride height compared to the Stonic, makes getting in and out easier.
All right, let me show you this, the boots. Now, the Hyundai Venue has a slightly bigger boot than the Kia Stonic. So slightly that we can really only demonstrate it with luggage. Now, we've got exactly the same amount of luggage in both, and the Stonic doesn't quite fit as well as the Venue. In fact, I don't think this closes all that well. But it's really the parcel shelf which is getting in the way. So if you want it to fit properly, you've really got to take the parcel shelf out, and then it's shut. This though will shut, no problems at all. Now, talking of parcel shelves, I've got something to show you, and this is a cool little feature of the Venue as well. So, if you can't close the boot because the parcel shelf is getting in the way or there's luggage which is too high, Hyundai have thought up this. So you undo those there, and then the parcel shelf slides down into there, like that. So then you can shut the boot without the parcel shelf getting in the way. Very clever indeed. One of the biggest differences between these two really similar SUVs is actually under the bonnet. Now, the Venue actually has the bigger engine. It's got a 1.6 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine. The Stonic has actually got a 1 litre 3-cylinder petrol engine. But the difference is it's turbocharged, and that really changes the personality of it and what it's like to drive. Now, in terms of transmissions, this has a 6-speed regular automatic transmission, and over here on the Stonic, again, it's automatic, but it's a different beast altogether. It's a dual clutch automatic. It's a 7-speed dual clutch automatic, and that changes its personality and what it's like to drive too. It's something I can really only show you behind the wheel, so let's put down these bonnets and take them for a drive. Okay, starting in the Stonic. Now, the very first thing you're going to notice about the Stonic compared to the Venue is that you sit really low in the Stonic. It's more like a car than an SUV. The bonnet sort of stretches out in front of you, the windows are shorter, the visibility is not quite good. So yeah, a different seating position to the Venue altogether. Now, putting it into drive and we move away, another thing you'll notice is that because it's got a dual clutch transmission, a dual clutch automatic transmission, it kind of lurches forward. And then what that makes you do is put your foot on the brake because you move forward quite fast, and that leads to sort of a jerky sort of driving behavior, and it's not very good in the city, especially if you're in traffic. Now, that turbo as well, it's a turbocharged 3-cylinder 1 litre engine. So it's a little engine, but it makes quite a lot of grunt because it's got a turbo. Now, the issue with the turbo is, well, what I think it is anyway, is that even though it's sporty and you get it on a country road and it sounds great and it provides plenty of power and it's really enthusiastic and energetic, in the city, when you put your foot down from, you know, a parking spot, there's a bit of turbo lag, which means that it takes a second or two for the grunt to arrive. So look, even now, I put my foot down and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and away we go. So that's a bit of turbo lag. And then once you're going, you know, you're flying, but there's a delay. There is that turbo lag, and that's not as well good for the city either. But in terms of ride and handling, the ride's really good, the handling's really good. There's that turbo lag again. And the transmission changes of that dual clutch automatic, they're a bit jerky, not very smooth either. And now, to top it all off, there's a fuel saving system, which is really good. It kills the engine when you're sitting at the traffic lights. And that's great. You save petrol because you're not sitting there idling away, going nowhere. But when you combine that with the turbo lag and the hesitation or the jerky movements in the dual clutch, it's not the best combination for city driving. But get the right country road, this thing is fantastic fun. And there's a drive mode button down here as well. Put it into sport, and that makes the shifts a bit more decisive, a bit sportier. Engine's coming to town as well. And there it is. It's a great sounding engine. 3 cylinders have a nice little roar to them. It's definitely got more personality than the Venue's 4-cylinder, even if I think that 4-cylinder in the Venue is better for the city. Now we're just about to jump into the Venue now. That's it right there beside us. We've pulled up beside it. And you can really see the difference in ride height, the seating position height between the Venue and the Stonic. You are so much lower in this. The visibility in that and your position when you're driving is so different. Let's jump in, I'll show you. All right, we are in the Hyundai Venue now. And yes, straight away, the seating position is so much higher. The bonnet is short and flat and square. So you can see where the bonnet begins and ends on both sides all around. These windows are giant all around too. So your visibility is much, much better in the Venue than it is in the Stonic. So look, if you are a bit of an underconfident driver, a bit nervous when you head out there in the traffic, I would really suggest the Venue for you. It's the easiest, friendliest of these two cars to drive. Its 4-cylinder isn't as excitable and as energetic as the Stonics. It's pretty dull, actually, but it's perfect for city driving where it's smooth and the automatic transmission just changes up and down gears without trying to drive like a race car driver would. So here we go. And yeah, nice, smooth driving. The ride is good, the handling is good over the speed bumps. Feels very stable, feels very secure, feels comfortable. Indicators aren't as loud, by the way, in the Venue. But that engine up the hill, although there's no lag, it does feel like it lags. Oof. And that's just because it doesn't have a turbo. So yeah, no turbo lag because there's no turbo in the Venue. But yeah, it does doesn't feel underpowered, but it could do with more power. All right, so making up for the lack of fun in the engine, which the Stonic has in spades, in the Venue, you've got this driving position, and the driving position is quite enjoyable. Like I said to you before, you've got good visibility through these big windows. You can see the little bonnet out in front of you. It's got like a little truck-like nose to this car. And it does feel like you're driving a little delivery van. And so that's quite enjoyable. And as I said before, if you are a little bit nervous on the road, this is definitely the one car which sort of makes life a little bit easier, especially in terms of parking as well. It's actually about 10 centimeters shorter than the Stonic. And 10 centimeters can make all the difference between getting to that parking spot or not. Go, go, go. Whoa, listen to it. It's trying. It's a little engine that almost could. So yes, while the engine doesn't have the same energy or enthusiasm as the turbocharged engine in the Stonic, this 4-cylinder, as dull as it may be, is a lot better suited for city driving. There's no jerky behavior in terms of the transmission, and the actual power from the engine is controllable and predictable and doesn't sort of frantically arrive, and there's no delay either. Now, when it comes to steering in the Venue, it's light, it's accurate, it's actually got a really good feel to it. I prefer it to the Stonic. The Stonic has heavier steering, more sporty steering, and I feel that the Venue is just a little bit easier to turn that wheel. It's effortless. It's really good. Now, we did a fuel test in the way that we always do fuel tests at CarsGuide. We filled up the tanks. They've both got 45-litre tanks, and then we took them on a round trip of Sydney, taking in some of the worst and best roads you can imagine at the worst times you can imagine as well. So we set off in peak hour traffic through the cities, suburbs, we did motorways, we did country roads, you name it, to try and get the type of figure you would as well. Now, you can see our figures on the screen there. So we took them back to the petrol station, filled them up, and worked at how much fuel they used. Now, the Venue actually proved to be just a little bit more efficient than the Stonic. Now, you can see on your screen as well what the makers of these cars reckon the consumption should be as well. And the Stonic actually comes out to be a bit more efficient. Now, I think I know why the Venue proved to be better in this case, and that's because the Stonic is brand new. When we were testing it, it only had about 500 kilometers on the odo. And at that point in the car's life, it's actually using more fuel until it's been running properly. So although the Venue won in our fuel consumption competition now, I've got a sneaky suspicion that the Stonic is actually the more efficient of the two.
Both the Stonic and the Venue have the maximum 5-star ANCAP ratings, but the Stonic's is from 2017 and the Venue's is from 2019, and that's not as good as a 2023 5-star rating. Still, both have AEB, lane keeping assistance and blind spot warning. The big difference is the Venue has rear cross traffic alert, which will tell you if somebody's about to walk behind you while you're reversing.
Now let's talk ownership costs. Now the Stonic is covered by Kia's 7-year unlimited kilometre warranty, whereas the Venue is covered by Hyundai's 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty. The Stonic has cap price servicing over 7 years, but over 5 years it works out to be about $430 per service per year. There isn't cap price servicing for the Venue, but you can get a plan. Now the plan means that over 5 years, each yearly service is about $315. So the Venue comes out on top there as well. Okay, so there you have it. Which of our small affordable SUVs wins our head-to-head today? Now, on the one hand, you've got the Kia Stonic. It's the sportier one to drive, but probably not the best to drive in the city. And then you've got the Venue, which is loaded with great tech, better tech. It's got more USB ports. It's got a wireless phone charger, a digital driver display. Look, in terms of practicality, it's got better legroom in the back. It's got a bigger boot. In ownership costs, it's cheaper to service. Look, it's even cheaper to buy. So today, I've got to give it to the Venue Elite. You are the winner of our head-to-head. Now, did I get it right? Tell me in the comments below. And of course, if you want to read the full review, go to carsguide.com.au.